Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I have two battles for you in the Type 1939 T31, which is the German Rank 3 Battle Rating 3.7 Premium Destroyer. It's the alternative to the Z20 Carl Galster, and therefore I also wanted to present it to you if you have the thoughts of grinding to the German cruiser line, especially the Admiral Hipper. And the question is the ship worth it? Well, first of all, if you know the German Type 1939 T22, which is the Tech 3 variant, it is pretty much the same. But significant changes have been made to the dispersion. And before I talk about this, I want to talk about this change, since I think a lot of people have not really realized this. For quite some time, the overall 5-inch caliber was cursed with some awkward dispersion, especially in the vertical. You had a ludicrous amount of dispersion, which made a lot of ships unusable. Gaijin overhauled with this patch a lot of the dispersion issues, and so the 127mm, 128mm, 130 and 133mm guns have been reworked in such a way that now they at least can hit the enemy ship. And this makes now a lot of the destroyers much more usable, and also some of the cruisers, believe it or not. So thumbs up to Gaijin, it only took you 1 year. In contrast, the 3.9, 3.0 and 3.1 inch guns, so gun calibers ranging from 100 to 105 millimeters, including some Soviet ships and their secondaries, as well as the Frunze, and also in particular the German Type 1939 T22 and T31, their accuracy has been adjusted, let's put it that way. Previously, they were pinpoint accurate, and so you could easily win a gunfight with a destroyer that had faster reload, more guns, and also better ammunition, because you could hit him and just could whittle him down, while his shells were all over the place. This has changed. The accuracy of the 5-inch guns has been significantly improved, and the 4-inch range has been adjusted, aka nerfed. So while in the last patch I would have recommended this premium ship with a heartbeat, although it came out this patch, I now have to hesitate to really recommend it, because overall the meta has changed. But let me talk you through what I mean. Let's now go into the description of this ship. Let's begin with the armor, and the ship, aside from some of the gun mountings, especially their main caliber guns, have no armor whatsoever, and the armor around the 105mm SK-C32 guns is only a bigger hitting space so that the guns get knocked out more constantly. So no armor whatsoever. The magazines, although, are at the waterline and below, so you don't get really taken out by magazine explosions that often, in contrast to some other ships that have the magazines raised above the waterline. The next thing is the speed, 57 kilometers per hour. You're not a speed demon, but you're not really slow by any stretch of the imagination. The 4 turrets have a rather slow turret traverse, so not all that many degrees per second, so it takes quite a while to bring the guns on target. And then only one gun turret faces forward. The rest of them are mounted more to the rear of the ship, but the gun firing angles then are pretty nice. Rate of fire is 1 salvo every 4 seconds for a fully trained ace crew. Then the shells themselves. Well, we have 3 shell types. All 3 of them are high explosive, the stock HE and the base use HE, as well as the high explosive with the distance use, aka the flak shell, all travel at a really nice 900 meters per second mass velocity and deliver 1.55 kilograms of TNT towards the enemy. So the damage output is not really all that great if you compare it, for example, with the American 5-inch 38. They have 3.22 kilograms of TNT filler, so just a touch more than twice the amount of TNT filler, and they also have a faster turret rotation speed and also a higher rate of fire. But one of the selling points of these ships is that, for example, in contrast to the Type 19 24 Leopard at the same battle rating, you have quite a few of smaller guns at your disposal. We're talking about two twin 20mm Flak-Zwilling MG-C38s and a Flak-Vierling, so a quadruple mounting, and they can punish some patrol boats that try to be cheeky. Then you also have 4 twin 37mm SKC-30 mountings, but they are not really all that great. Yes, they have a longer range than the 20mm, but they are single shot firing, so they are not like the ones that you are used from the Z20, the 37mm Flak Lafette C36 mounting, and you have to keep that in mind because, well, you don't have the shell density that you would expect. But other than this, as you could see, you can dominate patrol boats, and only when you get under constant attack from multiple enemies, while you get shot up by another destroyer and multiple aircraft are coming in, you can actually hold yourself. So you can absolutely dominate patrol boats at long range, as long as you are staying out of their disastrous firing zone. And yeah, you still have good enough maneuverability that you can dodge torpedoes if you notice them in time. Again, the torpedoes, as I said, are pretty slow. Let's talk about them. If you use the stock torpedoes, you have 41 kilometers per hour and 8 kilometers of range of the 533mm G7E Mod T5 torpedoes. You have 6 of them in 2 triple launchers, and they are centralized mounted. But they are not really torpedoes, as they are a mobile minefield. Especially if you use the torpedo mode, it goes really insane with the statistics. While you have a very nice 16 kilometers range, you only have a speed of 14.8 kilometers per hour. Not 40, 14.8 kilometers per hour. That means they take over an hour before they reach their target. That is really, really bad. So I wouldn't use here the torpedo mod if you want to use them at all, and so you can lock down a certain area with a mobile minefield, but don't expect to hit anything. I myself haven't gotten a single kill with them, but I have relied on my gun firepower. So as long as you don't get shot up by enemies, you can be a pretty efficient support vehicle when you support your destroyers, the bigger destroyers, that is, in gunfight versus other destroyers. So you can shine with your DPM, but not for all that long, because you can constantly fire for quite some time, but eventually you will run out of ammunition, because you have only 480 rounds of ammunition for your 4 guns, meaning 120 rounds per gun. 120 rounds per gun with a rate of fire of salvo every 4 seconds. After 8 minutes of constant firing, you're out of ammunition, and in a cap you cannot really refill this. And the damage output versus some of the bigger destroyers is not really all that great. They can soak up a considerable amount of those shells, and even some of the patrol boats can soak them up. Combine this with the less accuracy compared to previous patches, and you can see that this ship isn't really all that great when it comes to dealing with big ships. But for the good case, when you are actually top tier, which can happen occasionally, you can see that I have no trouble whatsoever dealing patrol boats, and it's just only a question if there are enough to shoot up. And versus some patrol boats, at the end you can go in with your 20mm and your 37mm in close range melee fight. So yeah, you can win then fights there as well. But again, I wouldn't really recommend it. There are some better ships with 40mm Bofors secondaries, with better main batteries, etc. Better handling main batteries. So I have my reservations fully recommending this ship. But when you look at the Z20, how this has been shafted in terms of performance, in terms of feature creep, power creep, and direct nerfs over the years, I don't really recommend the German line at all, the German premiums, that is. The Z20 saw its AP shell removed, then also the other ships got buffed in terms of amount of guns, in terms of rate of fire, especially the American 5-inch guns are now having a reload of 2.8 seconds, where previously they had 4 seconds. So also the DPM advantage is now gone for the Z20. This ship, although also suffering occasionally from conquest mode, where this ship is effectively useless and it's just a painful waste of time, I think that in normal matches you can make it work. Now, about the premium income. Let's compare the premium modifiers. For the RP you have 1.42, and for the Silver Line you have 1.3 times 2.0. Whereas the Z20 has 1.54 for RP and 1.4 times 2.0 for the Silver Lines. So yes, the Z20 still earns you more, but not that much more, and the Z20 always has to fight cruisers, where it doesn't have the AP to really defend itself effectively, efficiently. So I personally like the ship, but it has its problems. But this ship reflects the German tech tree up until this point quite well. So if you have no idea how to play German destroyers, how to play German ships at all, how to deal with positioning and how to make the most out of your ship in terms of rate of fire, muzzle velocity, shell damage, etc., this is a pretty nice representative, although it can be frustrating at times. I have to warn you for that. It's not overpowered, and it reflects what should be the case within War Thunder. But again, it overall reflects the problem that we have with the map design, with the game modes, with the balance, the power creep, the feature creep, the compression. All this is a possible drawback for this ship once in a while. And it is just a roll of the dice if you get up tiered, if you get down tiered, what kind of map you get, what kind of opposition you face, how strong the teamwork is within your team. It is far away from being useless and bad, but I don't really think that this is a ship that I personally would be okay with playing for the hundreds of battles that it requires to grind through the German naval tech tree. But again, there is a bit of satisfaction when you have a good game once in a while. The guns are nice once you get them on target, but you are a very, very fragile ship. You die pretty easily. It is a question of patience, aiming, teamwork, letting the others tank, and then being a good support. The ship can definitely do the job. That's actually it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found it useful. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this ship and its playstyle. Have you fought against it? Have you fought with it? Have you experienced in the tech tree version? Let me know in the comment section down below. And finally, that's it for me today, so give the video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.